All right, y'all, man. So let's go ahead and break down another big matchup, big noon kickoff. Colorado versus Utah. I know Utah's 4-5, but they're a very feisty bunch. And man, if you ain't careful, come mess around and beat you. So when I look at this game and to break it down, right? Colorado, like I wouldn't even mess around with Utah. Like don't make it a close game. Don't allow them to stay in it. Put your foot on their neck. Straight up, put your foot on their neck, right? Because this is a team that's feisty. When you look at Bernard, the senior running back, 860 yards rushing this season, 3 touchdowns. When you look at the receiver right here, and Sing, really good for them. Just a consistent go-to threat for them. Quarterback's not having the best year, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But this team is just feisty. They're well coached, and they continue to keep coming. You can have a 14-point lead. They just chip and chip and chip away. So it's going to be important that Colorado realize that. And they've had their number recently, Utah has. When we look at this matchup, Utah's won 11 of the last 12 against Colorado, including 3 in a row at Folsom Stadium. So you at home, you know what I'm saying, you got to handle business. You know, they're going to be ready. They're going to be mad because of last week, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to get that. And that would have been big for Colorado because that controversial game that came out to the end, Utah could have pulled off an upset, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to come in this game pissed off with an edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, y'all robbed us of that game. We should have won. So if you're Colorado, they're going to come. They might try to hit you in the mouth first. You're going to have to be prepared and mentally locked in. Not saying that they aren't, but it's going to be important. Now, this is why I said, too, and this is why the trenches is always important as well. And nobody talks about that in the turnaround for Colorado. Did y'all know that they're actually leads the Big 12 with sacks this year in 29? Right? So, and that's the difference. I think they got 9 players with 2 or more sacks this year. So when we talk about this Colorado team and why they're so good this year, remember last year they weren't getting a lot of pressure. So that put more pressure on Travis and their other defensive backs. This year you're getting pressure, you know what I'm saying, with that front four. And sometimes you could bring a blitz and everything like that. But then they ain't got to cover as long. And you know these college quarterbacks, they're going to want to do off-platform stuff. You know what I'm saying? Improvise, create time, and throw the ball. You know, which now that doesn't really blow into their favor with the defensive backs that obviously Colorado has. It's going to leave you more prone to turnovers. So that helps you when you're getting pressure and you're kind of in the quarterback's head with what Colorado's been doing. It's going to lead to more opportunities for you on the back end to get turnovers, get the ball back to Shedeur Sanders. So that's another key stat I wanted to point out as well. They've been balling. Arden Walker had a big game for them last week against Texas Tech with 2 sacks in that game. So that's going to be key for them. Always comes down to the trenches, man. Turnovers, trenches, making sure you can win a line of scrimmage. And Colorado defensively has been one of the better teams at that with their 29 sacks this season. So they've been great, and it's going to be interesting to see them against that Utah offensive line. Nonetheless, man, it comes down to this guy right here and this special just person and what he could do on the football field. Like, Travis is just next level, man. Like, when you look at his ranks, number 1 in snaps played, 3rd in receptions with 69, 9 receiving touchdowns, 4th with 856 receiving yards, nearly a 1,000-yard receiver, 894 all-purpose yards. Like, he's been doing this thing, man, both sides of the ball. Just been electric. And like I said, I think if they're able to play meaningful football, which is what I've been saying all season, and get to a Big 12 championship, and they're playing in that game, he's likely going to win Heisman, you know, and they win it, and they get a college football playoff spot. And Deion's probably going to get Coach of the Year. If he doesn't get Coach of the Year for the whole entire thing, he's definitely going to get Big 12 Coach of the Year for that turnaround. Because you're going to go, start 3-0, they end up going 4-8, and then get to this point with how good they've been. Speaks volumes. So, yeah, man, Travis is going to be one to watch. Obviously, always impact player on both sides of the ball to watch for. Shedeur Sanders, another one. Both of them guys are Heisman. I think guys that will be in that conversation, potential finalists for what they've been able to do. Running game has been a lot better for them. And if you're Shedeur, just keep doing what you're doing. 24 touchdowns so far this year, nearly 3,000 yards. You're one of the top players in college football, especially at the quarterback spot. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Don't turn over the ball. Lean on the offense. And another thing that hasn't been talked about enough is his offensive line and how improved it is. How they buying time for him. And think about this, guys. When you go back to the game last week, down 13-0, that game last year, they lose that. That speaks volumes as well what they're able to do. They play good complementary football. When one side of the ball is struggling, the other side picks it up. We've seen that throughout the year, man. So that's going to be key in this one. They do kind of run it back by committee. When you look at them, August Dave, Welsh, Hayden, they do it by committee. But establishing a running game early is going to be big in this one. And like I said, don't mess around, don't play with it when it comes down to Utah, because after last week, they're going to be pissed off. The AD said it and got fined for it, obviously, but they're going to be coming in a little pissed off. Nonetheless, man, I'm rolling with the Buffaloes, man, with the improvement of their offensive line, the defensive line getting 29 sacks, 9 guys with 2 or more sacks this year, the ability to pressure the passer, how elite players that they got. I think this is one of the best wide receiver groups in the country that nobody talks about enough. It ain't just one guy, it ain't just Travis. It's like 4 to 5 guys that could potentially be dangerous. And an improved running game for them as well. I think it bodes terribly for Utah. And I think Colorado they got the eye on the prize, man. They got the eye on the prize, continue to pick up Big 12 wins and set themselves up potentially for an automatic bid. I think that's where Colorado's focus is right now, humbly. So we're going to see. We're going to find out. But I'm going with the Buffaloes. I think they pull this one out and they beat Utah. I'm going to go over 10 points. But comment below, Buff fans, you know what I'm saying, what you got over or under touchdown receptions for Travis, 2 or more, over or under 3+ touchdowns for Shadur Sanders.